This is day 6 of our Viking Portugal River of Gold trip. Today we disembarked from the boat, got on a bus, and drove about an hour and 45 minutes with one stop to Salamanca, Spain, for a city tour. Heading on our way to Salamanca.
This river, the important thing that I wanted to transmit is that it's the natural border between Portugal and Spain. That means I'm in 3, 2, and 1. Welcome to Spain, ladies and gentlemen.
Just crossed the border into Spain. Out of Portugal into Spain. There we are.
It's Viking, and on this side we are.
So the river is the natural border between Portugal and Spain, and this side of the river is Spain. So this is our first introduction to Spain. So once we crossed the border, we noticed a remarkable change in the landscape. In Portugal, it was all hills along the Douro Valley, filled with olive trees and vineyards. But in Spain, it was all level ground with lots of rock walls separating different fields and lots of cattle. I guess they do a lot of cattle farming or beef production in this particular area. After an hour on the bus, we had our first comfort stop where they served us some orange juice. You can also get some coffee. And they had a variety of different things that you could buy here. And then 45 minutes after our comfort stop, we arrived in Salamanca. So the total trip took us approximately an hour and 45 minutes, let's say 2 hours with the comfort stop. So we just arrived in Salamanca, Spain, and we are headed off to the market to check out the local shop. The farmer's market is what my understanding is. So they call this the Golden City because of the brownish gold sandstone, and it comes from a village called Monger. And this is a traditional market, so not for the tourists. The regular people of the city do all their shopping here. Lots of fresh fish. Lots of butchers, delicatessens, fresh fruit, vegetables. Lots of fishmongers, it looks like. So while in the market, they brought us over to one of the stands where we had a wine tasting as well as some appetizers, some typical appetizers of Spain, and that was served as, I guess, a pre-lunch. The tapas are offering us today as part of the Viking menu. Salami, gelatins, olives, and grapes and breads. All good. Here's another fishmonger shop. A lot of fish here. I don't know what they are. There's some flounder there. Some squid, some camarón or shrimp, and beautiful crabs, lobster, sardines. That looks like red snapper there, but there's a lot of clams as well. Those look like snails. Very nice. They have a pastry shop here as well. Very nice. And a fruit market with vegetables. Lots of olives wrapped in sardines. And then a spice counter as well. And they say this is one of the best places to buy saffron. Cheeses and lots of jams. So this is cured ham, and it's always the back legs. It's a minimum curing time of 3 years. So the taste changes on the breed and what they eat. And what they're famous for is pigs that only eat acorns. They have a particular taste, which is favored here. So we've left the central market, and we're going to go to the central square, or or Old Square, I believe it's called, and it's quite large. So Plaza Mayor in Salamanca is a beautiful Baroque-style public square that serves as the vibrant heart of the city. It was constructed in the mid-18th century, and it's known for its stunning architecture, including the town hall building, and is lined with arches or arcades featuring medallions with faces of historical figures. It is a lively hub for locals and visitors with many restaurants, bars, shops, and is often used for festivals and other celebrations. It was built between 1729 and 1755, and it was originally used for bullfights and other large public events. Today it's used for pedestrians, socializing, dining out, concerts, markets, and other celebrations. So after about 15 minutes, we left the square and continued our walking tour of the city. So this is a 13th century church with a Romanesque type design. And one of the interesting things here is it has a stork nest on the very top of it. And the storks are here all summer long. And then in the fall, they migrate to the south of Spain and then fly to Africa for the winter. And then when they return to the same nests and reuse them again. So they have lots of restaurants here, and you can pay a single price, in this case $18.50, and get your first, second, and dessert platter for that, or you can buy tapas or snacks. Now the university is quite famous here, and the artist had a bit of a sense of humor, and one of the trademarks, or one of the things they're well known for, is a little frog, which somebody in the 16th century carved on top of a skull on their front entrance, and it's sort of worn a bit, but this picture shows it right here. So the skull with a frog on top. And that's sort of become a symbol of the city now. Later on in our tour, our guide will point out this sculpture. So this is the bell tower for the Jesuit monastery, and right across from it is the House of Shells, and that's what we're going to look at next. The Casa de las Conchas, or House of Shells, was built between 1493 to 1517 by Rodrigo Arias de Maldonado. He was a knight of the Order of Santiago de Compostela and a professor at the University of Salamanca. Its most peculiar feature is its facade mixing late Gothic and Plantaresque with more than 300 shells, symbols of the Order of Santiago, as well as for the pilgrims performing the Way of St. James. So we got to enter into the building, or at least the courtyard. We did not go into the library, which is actually on the left-hand side of this courtyard. And the highlight here was checking out the architecture and learning from our guide all about the history of its construction, as well as the original owner.
Belonging to a man called Maldonado, his coat of arms, his emblem is this one, like having 5 lily flowers. You may see all these coat of arms everywhere. And it's nice to see
Maldonado built that, private family, and that is his coat of arms.
This is mixed linear, different lines of arms, okay? That is typical Renaissance or Renaissance times in Salamanca.
So this is Renaissance architecture.
And then the upper level, the upper cloister, these round pillars are made of marble from Italy. Okay?
Round pillars are made of marble from Italy.
Resting up there is look like lily flowers. They are having this type of rain, stone rain piles. They are like
These gargoyles are basically drains that take the water off the roof.
that is very nice. It's carved using a famous stone in Salamanca. This is called basket.
There's a basket weaving decoration on the balconies. And the other side is called honeycomb. So after leaving the House of Shells, we continued our walking tour, and now we're going to check out some of the university buildings in the city. And there's approximately 30,000 students here, and it's one of the oldest universities in Spain. part of one of the university building here. And this particular building is from the 16th century, and that's where the famous frog is carved in. And it has become the symbol of the city. So again, this is the university, and all these beautiful carvings are cut into the sandstone here. And this is where we're going to find the famous frog that was carved here. So on this building, on this particular column, we're going to see 3 skulls, and the one on the left has a frog on top of it. And it was just the artist having a little bit of fun here. I don't know if he told the owners or the people who commissioned him, but they tended to do things like this back in the time. Now, the other interesting thing about this building, it's part of the university, but it's no longer used for classes. But the whole front of it is what they call bas-relief carvings. And if you look at it closely, you'll find that the carvings actually get more deeper or more detailed, have a lot more depth as it goes up to the top of the building. So that allowed the spectators or people who are touring through here to be able to really see the details of the building and its carvings or decorations from the ground. So thinner or not as depth on the lower sections and much more detailed on the higher sections. So at the universities they teach humanities but also law and medicine. So right across, around the corner from the old university is the new cathedral. So the new cathedral is formerly known as the Cathedral of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary, but it is popularly known as the new cathedral here in Salamanca. So together with the old cathedral is one of 2 cathedrals in Salamanca. It was constructed between 1533 and 1733, so 200 years, and it mixes late Gothic, Plasteresque, and Baroque styles. It's one of the largest cathedrals in Spain, and it has a bell tower that measures 92 meters high. Now, when they built the new cathedral, the thought was that they were going to destroy the old cathedral after it was completed, but in the end, they just left it attached, and when we go inside it, you're going to see that you have access to the old cathedral from the new cathedral. Now, the reason they decided to build a new cathedral was that the demographics had changed in the city. When the university was built in the 15th century, there was a large influx of students, and there was not enough room in the old cathedral. They needed more space to house or accommodate all the students, so a new cathedral had to be built. So we're now going around to the other side of the cathedral because that's where the front entrance is, and there's some interesting history here which our guide is going to tell us about. So the cathedral, the new cathedral, was constructed between 1533 and 1733. However, the water draining off the roof here tended to run down the side of the building, and it damaged the lower sections. That's why you're seeing the limestone, or I should say the sandstone here, is a lot lighter in color. And that's because it was replaced in the 1970s. And the artist who did the carvings in 1970 did a few interesting things, had a little bit of fun carving this astronaut. And they carved a dragon here, and the dragon is eating an ice cream cone. So just like the artist did back in the time of construction of the original cathedral here, the new artist decided to put in a few interesting details and maybe a little bit of humor as well. So that was the end of our formal tour with our guide, and we were given approximately 2 hours to tour the city on our own, and many of us decided to go into the cathedral. Into the cathedral.
Shots of everything.
So this is the new cathedral. And as part of your Viking tour, you have free access to this. So this is the Cathedral of Salamanca, the new one. So this is a Gothic design.
Apparently this is one of the, if not the tallest cathedral in Spain. Look at this amazing organ here. So the choir is probably on the opposite side of the organ here. We'll take a look at that in a minute. In this particular chapel, which is Sant Antonio, they have some beautiful paintings. Now that is a dome. Incredible. The panels are the same. Except for the middle ones look like the double piece. We're not sure what that is. And there's the choir. And it looks like there's almost two organs, one on either side. Some beautiful stained glass windows here. And like all the Gothic churches, all the sides have different chapels, mostly dedicated to saints. Chapel of Santa Cristo la Patanas. This is an interesting painting. Lots of candles around Christ. It looks like ascending to heaven. Well, the cross. And then beside it, ascending to heaven. And there's the double piece right there as well. I assume representation of God. Again, it looks like another painting that is fairly modern. Businessmen in this painting and buildings as well. And people on the beach. And the military. And maybe the slave trade represented here with indigenous people. They're setting up a display here with all these candles now. But the last thing we'll do is we'll go take a look at the choir. So, here's the main chapel, and here's the choir. And this is Susan, one of our tour buddies. So, the main chapel, with its impressive dome, over to the choir. The last church I was in, they didn't allow you to go inside the choir. So this is really nice. The music sheets. Would really love to hear this organ play. I'm sure it sounds wonderful. So pipes on that side, and then more pipes on this side. And these beautifully carved benches here, all out of wood, and every single figure is different. So we're leaving the new cathedral, and probably next we'll go to the old cathedral. So, statue Roman soldiers with Christ.
¿Sabes? ¿Quieres creerme? No pagar.
So this is the old cathedral.
So this is the old room
Yeah.
attached to it.
Yep.
This one is 1100.
I believe so. So, attached to the new cathedral is the old cathedral. There's almost no separation. And I believe the bell tower is right in front of the old cathedral. So nowhere near as big. And what they said is with the university, they had an influx of students and other professionals. And with that, they needed a larger cathedral, so they built the new cathedral. So I'll have a look at the chapel of St. Martin first, and then we'll go take a look at the central chapel of the old cathedral. So this is the chapel of St. Martin. I'll have to check on the age of this, but I believe it was in the 12th century it was made. I don't know if that's his crypt, but I suspect so. So, leave the chapel of St. Martin, then we'll check out the main chapel. And we'll go down the side here to reach it. Looks like we have some important people who are buried in the chapel or in the church. They've got these beautiful paintings here. This is when I wish I read Spanish, but I think maybe some of this might be in Latin. Understand what it means. This is Judgment Day. Seems like it. These nice religious people on this side praying, and these naked people who seem to be afraid on the other side. And you've got all these beautiful paintings in between. Sacramental Cathedral. And then the last section. I think we have an exit to the cloister here. And it looks like some more crypts. Okay, let's see what the cloister looks like. This is the Chapel of San Salvador, so just right outside the church, they have another chapel.
Isn't that cool? I'm like,
This is the Chapel of Santa Barbara. Wow. So this whole panel apparently would swing closed into that window section there. I guess maybe it was a window. The murals in the Chapel of Santa Barbara, it says here, represents the life of Santa Barbara, and it's from the 14th century. Santa Catalina Chapel. Just this section looks newer than the others, but I don't believe it is. Interesting piece of carving here. Looks like wood. And this is the cloister for the old church, which is right there. And behind it is the new church. And there's the bell tower. Nice area. But it doesn't look like they have any benches where you could come out and sit and relax and meditate.
So after touring the cathedrals, we decided to walk through the town and check out all the shops before we headed back to our bus.
In Salamanca, Spain, right on the main shopping street, right next to the university, the private university from the Franciscans, and this is the House of Shells in Salamanca. Lots of cafes, sit down, get a beer, some wine. Lots of restaurants here. There's some beautiful
I want to say prosciutto. I'm sure they have a different name for it here. Again, some interesting lights right there. Like those. Purses and jewelry here. And t-shirts. Nice piece of art. And a pharmacy. So lots of places to buy some interesting t-shirts. Low cost. I like this one. Van Gogh. Van Going. Van Gogh. And they've got these pork places where you can get like prosciutto, I guess, versions, the Spanish type. I don't know how to pronounce the real name, but just eat it. It's pretty cool. The beers. And obviously some delicatessens. Lots of cheeses, lots of different meats and hams, pork, legs, reserve, and I guess you pay on the ham depending on if it's fully from Spain or not. Different types, they feed them different types of food, acorns being one of the most natural ones that supposedly gives you some of the best taste. So at the conclusion of the day, we needed to meet at a meeting point or gather at a meeting point, and that was in front of the new church or cathedral. So we did that, and from here we walked back towards our buses, but prior to getting there, we stopped at a cafeteria where they had sandwiches and different hors d'oeuvres and some wine for us. And we got to use the bathroom there because from there it was a straight run back on the bus right to our ship, and I think that was only about an hour at most to get back to where we had to be. But while my wife was waiting for our tour guide to show up, I did a quick little excursion myself to the oldest structure in the city of Salamanca, and that's an old Roman bridge. And being a Roman bridge, it had to be built before 500 AD. So it's actually quite long here, and it goes over the river. But the river was low today, so a lot of it was exposed. So it was just a nice little thing to do before I headed back to the plaza and met up with the group and then over to the cafeteria. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. I plan to post all 10 days of our Viking excursion tour, both land and boat. And I will also be showing you some different videos of the different areas of Portugal. The oldest road before item and then again after our excursion. Piece in the whole town of Salamanca is this Roman bridge here. So that means with the Romans, I believe their reign